Drama bin drama, Arab drama, Ole drama, Nyar drama, Mto drama, Said drama, zote pamoja. Folks, it is only a handful of days to the most critical, the most important general elections in the history of the country called Kenya. And what is happening currently is that some alarming developments have emerged on our political scene. And these alarming developments are triggered by the utterances of one of the major presidential candidates, William Ruto, who has gone on an all-out attack on President Uhuru Kenyatta, accusing him of all manner of things. And even as this is happening, some very, very alarming rumors have emerged. What does it all mean? That is what my very hot show, Moto Kuliko Pasi ya Makaa, is about. So a very warm welcome. Now please remember to give this video a like if you're enjoying it. If you're not enjoying it, I pledge to do my best to make sure that you enjoy the next one. I also want to take this opportunity to thank all those who have gifted me during the month of July. Asanteni sana from the bottom of my heart. And may the good Lord restore to your storehouses 100-fold what you gave. Of course, your contributions are going to be used very wisely for the betterment of what we do on this channel, all for a better Kenya. Right, folks, we have a lot to unpack and analyze. So let's not take up any more time and let's get right to it. Twende kazi. And then the politics in Kenya got very, very scary. Now, Kenyans have been very concerned in recent times because of the tone and the utterances of Deputy President William Ruto and his running mate, Rigathi Gachagua. It seems that they've been out on a mission to deliberately provoke the president, and accuse him of all manner of things, which on the surface does not make any sense. Because as I've said many times on this channel, President Uhuru Kenyatta is not a candidate in the upcoming general elections. He's not. So why focus so much on Uhuru Kenyatta? Why? What is the reason? Because whatever you want to say about the deputy president and the Kenya Kwanza outfit, I'm sure you'll agree with me that they would not wake up one day and do something with no reason. And you can see the attacks on the president are very well coordinated. Deputy president says something, Rigathi Gachagua says something, and all allies of the deputy president parrot more or less the same thing. Now, I recently heard one of our analysts in the country suggest that one of the reasons for these recent attacks is because Kenya Kwanza wants to link President Uhuru Kenyatta to historical injustices. Of course, those committed by his father, the first president of the Republic of Kenya, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. Now, one of the reasons why I strongly believe that that cannot even be a peripheral reason is because of where we are right now in our politics. We have an expression in Kenya, kipindi cha lala salama. That is the last few minutes of a very crucial game. In our case, we can interpret it to mean the last few hours and days of a very crucial general election in Kenya. Now, even if it was a soccer game, what kind of tactics would you play in the last minutes of a game that you're already losing? There would be desperate measures. And it is the same in politics. And this is the ugly side of politics and the very scary side of politics. Because desperate measures and desperate tactics in politics are really, really desperate. And they're usually bloody. Yeah, I'm sorry. That is the reality of politics. Now, before I proceed, allow me to take a quick look at two examples from the past where desperate measures were used. And those who used the desperate measures, unfortunately, ended up winning. Okay? So that we bring the current very scary situation into perspective and analyze it thoroughly. Okay? Now, in the late 70s, there was a candidate for a parliamentary seat somewhere in Western Kenya called Burudi Nabwera. And as we got nearer and nearer to polling day, it was very obvious that Bwana Nabwera was going to win that seat hands down. The other side was desperate. And so what happened next is that a senior campaign manager of his opponent, a man called Joshua Angatia, was found dead. Now, of course, in that situation, everybody assumed that the person responsible for that unfortunate incident must be from Burudi Nabwera's camp. And of course, it had a major impact in the way people voted, because suddenly all the sympathy votes shifted to Joshua Ngatia, and he won that parliamentary seat. And it is worth noting that from then on, Bwana Burudi Nabwera, who had won that seat easily, struggled in his politics. He found it very difficult to get back to parliament. It was an uphill struggle, because every campaign season, people brought up this issue, reminded voters of the death of the campaign manager of his opponent. Now, although it was obvious at the time, over the years it has been reconfirmed that actually the death of that campaign manager could not have had anything to do with Burudi Nabwera. It was a desperate measure to get sympathy votes, which unfortunately worked. Let's dive into another quick example. When President Uhuru Kenyatta made his first bid to get elected to parliament in Gatundu, he was also winning, clearly. And his opponent at the time decided to use a desperate measure, similar to the one I've just recounted in my first example. I believe the man visited a butchery where they sell meat, and he managed to get a lot of blood, which was sprinkled in a river where his car was abandoned. Yeah. Of course, the clear implication is that that opponent of Uhuru Kenyatta had been gotten rid of, bumped off. And this was on the eve of voting. And again, the votes shifted overnight into sympathy votes for Uhuru Kenyatta's opponent, who ended up winning that parliamentary seat because he made a miraculous appearance shortly after voting had already started. Very much alive and kicking. Yeah. And even as people asked many questions about a candidate faking their own death, it was too late. People had voted massive sympathy votes for the opponent of Uhuru Kenyatta. Now, let's come to the present. We have all heard very clearly the accusations thrown at President Uhuru Kenyatta by the Kenya Kwanza chaps and UDA fellows, the Deputy President and his running mate, and their allies. And they have been very consistent. And people have thrown around many theories. And so today, I want to introduce another theory. Okay? Now, supposing, let us just suppose for a minute, that all these utterances are preparing Kenyans for something. Something like what? Some news that would confirm that the President and Team Azimio may want to bump off somebody in the Kenya Kwanza team. And then of course the Kenya Kwanza team would come out and say something like, Stiluambia. Sasa unaona imefanyika. So and so is no longer with us. But we told you very early that this was going to happen. We had suggested that this is the style of Team Azimio, and their leading lights. Now, if we look at that particular scenario, everything starts to make perfect sense. The recent utterances of the Deputy President make sense. And this is where it is getting very scary for Kenyans. Is it possible that one side of the political divide will resort to desperate measures? That is the question. Have we seen any evidence so far that one side of the political divide has already been involved in desperate measures? That is another question. The recent manenos over the Venezuelans found with voting material, stickers, very crucial stickers in the upcoming elections, could that be classified as a desperate measure? A desperate measure to rig the presidential election? Those are the questions Kenyans are asking themselves. Now, of course, the answers to some of those questions are very sensitive, and we cannot carry them on this public channel. And I'm afraid you'll have to find them in Weekly Intelligence Briefings number 80, where I go very deeply into the nuts and bolts of this very alarming development. Because there are rumors flying all over the place. Where are these rumors from? Can they be relied on? Where is this information from? Can it be relied on? Find all the answers in my latest Weekly Intelligence Briefings, number 80. I believe you can see details on your screen right now, in case you're not yet a member, on how you can take advantage of the current special offer. And not only get hold of this information, but also all the other Weekly Intelligence Briefings ever produced that you've missed. You'll get all of them pop. Plus you'll also get a free copy of Let the Blood Flow, my classic ebook about what really happened in 2008 during the clashes. Information that is very difficult to find anywhere else. Because at that time there was a suppressing of information. It was too sensitive. And the whole idea was that if the nation was to heal, this information had to be kept under wraps. It's all in that amazing ebook. So please take action right away. It is a great offer, which should end very soon. So take full advantage of it before it ends shortly. You see, once again, we come back to a very critical factor in our politics, and indeed in the politics of any country, the character of the candidates vying for office, and especially the character of the candidates vying for the highest office in the land. Now, in my opinion, it is very instructive that it seems that UDA and Kenya Kwanza can't seem to find anything, any scandal, anything to pin on Raila Odinga that would make a dent on his reputation and on his character. And so the question would be, is it because of this that the UDA team have found it easier to target President Uhuru Kenyatta, who is not a candidate for the upcoming elections, but is a senior official, in fact is the chairman of Team Azimio, the main opponents of Deputy President William Ruto's bid for State House. And indeed, as we have all observed, this digging into President Uhuru Kenyatta has extended to his family and has even extended to his late father, the founding president of the Republic of Kenya, and the ills committed by his government, which are now being pinned by extension to Uhuru Kenyatta. Even the controversial assassination of the late Nyandarua North legislator, J.M. Kariuki, has been brought up. I find this super fascinating because when J.M. Kariuki passed on, was assassinated, in a most brutal manner, Uhuru Kenyatta was barely 15 years old. He was a minor. He was a kid. But now, the politics in Kenya is such that some people would want to pin that on President Uhuru Kenyatta. Yes, it was his father. And usually, people say the sins of the fathers are visited on the sons, and so on and so forth. But really, really, are we serious this time round? Really? Has the situation gotten that desperate? Or is it we're trying to create some certain perception in readiness for something some people may know may happen? Maybe they have information that we don't have. This is what those alarming utterances are clearly telling us. Almighty God, have mercy on the nation called Kenya. Remember mercy. We have sinned. We have committed many evils. But dear Lord, forgive us. And remember mercy. And please, dear God, if indeed judgment has come, we pray that you remember mercy. Until next time, this is Kshs. Kumekucha.